Alright, back to Ace Attorney. So we've got March 14th at 4:18 a.m. It's already been like 2 or 3 hours. Wow. Prosecutor's building, 12th floor. What is with that prosecutor? I can't believe how rude it was. It was unbelievable. Please maintain your professionalism, detective. I'm gonna find some real solid evidence proving Maggie's innocence. You'll see, sir. But we've been kicked out of the crime scene, sir. True. So then what now? Looks like my life fallen into yet another gigantic ditch. Do not despair, Miss Bird. We can overcome this as well. There are many other places and things we should be looking into anyway. Eh? Really, sir? For example, this hallway. The linchpin of his argument is against Miss Bird related. The linchpin of his argument against Miss Bird is related to the master key. In that case, this hallway is the perfect place to look for more information. Regarding the mystery surrounding my door. Start with the basketball. What is a basketball doing? That's Mr. Portsman's prized possession, sir. I heard he also plays soccer, dodgeball, and even tennis. And not a single one of those sports is suitable to be played in a hallway. Big ass hallway, though. Oh no, look who's standing over there. Is everything alright? Yes, sir. You must know, I weighed myself this morning and I'm finally at 154 pounds. Oh lord, I wish I weighed 154. Woo, I think my thigh weighs that. Congratulations, but I was asking about this hallway and this room. Oh, everything's okay, sir. A word of advice, stay focused or you may start to lose even more weight. It looks like you're in quite the pinch, Mr. Edgewood. To be sure, murder within the walls of the prosecutor's office is no trifling matter. We must find, apprehend, and punish the killer accordingly post-haste. Sounds like a messy case you've got on your hand. If you ever feel lost, this is how he talks. He's like, Dixon. If you ever feel lost or need some advice, how gracious. I will keep your offer in mind. I know that. It's office. 12. Hey Maggie, whose room is this again? It's Mr. Portsman, sir. Oh, he's my new neighbor, I see. I suppose he moved in while I was away overseas. What is a basketball hoop doing? Hey, didn't this used to be just outside next to the building long ago? So, when and why has it moved indoors? I don't remember exactly, but I saw one of the officers drag it up here. Drag it? I heard that it wouldn't fit in the elevator, so the poor guy had to bring it himself. All the way up to the 12th. Oh. Rest of every gotta be the missing file. It's isn't this that missing O series file, sir? No doubt about it. Bloody letters mark it as clear as day. There seems to be a few pages. Our thief only took what was necessary and left the rest behind. What are these O files about, sir? I guess they've got something worth stealing in them, huh? Not particularly, it's just a collection of court case files. However, the cases within these files are not mine. Huh? They belong to the high prosecutor that used to occupy my office. I have my reasons, but let's just say I was charged with keeping them in order. Then that means the thief Must have also wanted the file for a specific reason, right? It would seem so. Only the pages related to that case from 10 years ago are missing. Wonder why anyone would care about such an old case. Well-crafted, high-quality sofa for visitors. This kitchen is... Talk about a luxury living area. Babies are also great for napping, you know. Would sleep even out here, detective? In a hallway? Whenever I do, I always wind up dreaming about giving testimony. But it always ends the same way. Me getting trounced by a lawyer. Isn't that awful? Maybe I should give it... envision myself winning now. I was wondering if I may speak with you for a bit concerning this. I've always been a big fan of the courtroom. This is like a dream. A dream where I'm being cross-examined by the Miles Edgeworth. She's crazy. She's crazy. I can't let this chance pass me by. I must remember to ask her about the master key. I should jog her memory by showing her my notes. So when did you discover that the master key was missing? The time I realized it, I think around 1 a.m., sir. I noticed it was back around 2:30. It was just sitting there on the ledge where the security room's reception was. But I'm sure that between those two times it was not just gone, but stolen, sir. Why is such an important key stored in such an insecure place? Ah, it's not like that, sir. We always keep the key further inside the room, away from the... Always, you say? Except for this time, correct? Well, I admit that I was a bit careless, but I had my reason. I left it out because I was sort of using it at the time. It was after I had used it that I left it sitting out. Just a lowly security guard, so I'm not sure what I should do with that other than to guard it. Yeah, she much. What did you mean by you used the master key? Oh, I had to use it to open the door for this prosecutor who had forgotten his key. I mean, it's my job as a security guard, right? Ah! What is it? That's right, I just remembered. The prosecutor who forgot his key. It was Mr. Portsman, sir. What? Please tell me more, Miss Bird. Quickly. It was around 12 a.m. Mr. Portsman had forgotten his office keys, so he came down to security. That's when you loaned the master key to him? No way! It's against regulations to loan the master key to out to anyone. I walked with Mr. Portsman to his office and opened the door for him personally, sir. Ooh. And then what happened after that? Well, he called for me to come up close to his office as he was leaving to go home. That was around 1:30 a.m., I think. So in summary, for the sake of one forgetful prosecutor, you used the master key twice tonight. Talk about suspicious. I doubt you can say that you never left your keys at home, Detective. Calls for a thorough examination. Portsman's paper. Miss Maggie Bird, correct? I take it you were an detective. She was under my supervision back when she was still on the force, sir. One day I got caught up in a murder and things started going downhill. Wait. Oh, she got caught up in a murder. But I owe a lot to Detective Gumshoe for introducing me to my current employer. So I thought until a few hours ago. Right before I was about to clock out for the night. Got caught up in this whirlwind of a case, correct? Don't worry, my whole life has been nothing but a whirlwind of bad luck and failure. Since I was 6 months old, I fell from the 9th floor of my apartment building. Jesus. I've been hit by all sorts of vehicles, gotten sick from all sorts of food, failed at almost every test I've ever taken, experienced almost every kind of disaster, and now I even managed to be named a criminal. Just when I become a secretary. That's a lot to go through in one time. I know! Just when I thought I had finally found my happiness, I wind up getting you and Detective Gumshoe involved in my bad luck. You don't need to worry about me, Miss Bird, nor do you need to worry about yourself. I will solve this case and prove your innocence. All I ask in return is for your cooperation. Yes, sir, Mr. Edgeworth. You can count on me. I'll do all I can to help. Have you ever met the victim before? Well, I've seen him a couple times before when I had to go to Mr. Portsman. Mr. Faith was always playing basketball with Mr. Portsman, sir. That sounds like fun. Just once I'd love to play with them. It sounds fun, but the only person ever taking a shot was Mr. Portsman. All Mr. Faith ever did was pass the ball to him. Second thought, I don't think I'd have fit in all that well with him. Look at that. I'm gonna look. Level 3. I take it that this is Mr. Portsman's office. Yeah, you can't mistake it because of that basketball hoop, sir. Oh, that reminds me, Mr. Portsman had actually wanted room 1202 really badly. But since you were already occupying it, Mr. Edgeworth, we put him next door, sir. Why was Mr. Portsman so particular about getting 1202? I'm not sure, but I bet it's because of something like his birthday is December 2nd. Yep, that's gotta be it. I can't think of another reason why. I can think of at least 3. Bah, why am I even wasting time thinking about this? Minimalist, yet classy door made of top quality wood. Kind of majestic, too. Fits in really well with the ambiance the prosecutor's office is. Even Mr. Portsman seems dignified just because he worked behind me. Nonsense. A man doesn't become more or less dignified because of where he works. Oh, he still seems more dignified than Mr. Payne. This gets some good work. Door's locked tight. I bet the old credit card trick wouldn't work here, huh, Mr. Edgeworth? The office of a high prosecutor, detective. These doors would be pretty ineffective if the average cat burglar could get... Ah. I guess only a great cat burglar could get in. That would be who our culprit is. I'd advise you to return that to whatever pawn shop you bought it from. Let it the Portsman's personal basketball. If you put something like this in the hallway of a prosecutor's office, you won't need either. But you know, it's actually pretty useful, sir. I haven't gotten lost trying to get to your office since it's been here. How long have I had the same office and you still managed to get lost? That's all I can parse here. Oh wait, there's no check mark on this. I want this file. Oh, I didn't even look at the carpet. But the thief's not under here. I guess there isn't enough space for anyone to hide under here anyway. I mean, if someone could contort themselves to fit, I'd be really impressed. I already tried at least once before. Okay, Dan. Time to look at my door. Rest until... I'm pretty sure he says that about every investigation whole game, so I'm not gonna say it every time. 1202. These 4 numbers on a number plate alone proclaim this to be my office. Whoops, hey, these number plates slide right out, sir. I have to be able to take the plate off when a room becomes vacant. Although, the idea that it can be so easily removed is proof. No signs of forced entry. According to the guard, no signs that the lock was picked either, sir, meaning that the door was really open. You happen to ask if any prints were lifted from the doorknob? Apparently the doorknob's clean as a whistle, wiped, they think. Whoever this thief is, they did a good job of not leaving any clues behind. Surely made, making it near impossible to break it in by force. It's almost majestic, sir. I wish I could be as stately as this door. Being a detective has its own rewards. Certain virtuous value, I think. Live up to your full potential. That's a poignant trait, then, anyway. I see. You're saying, sir, that me being me is the best thing I can do for everyone? Right. That long pause wasn't exactly reassuring. Put any pieces together? Oh, yeah, look at that. I think it did it. Miss Bird, I'm afraid there's a flaw in your story. What? No way, pal. I mean, sir. You said that you locked up Mr. Portsman's office at around 1:30, correct? However, the master key had already been stolen at that time. Wow, nothing gets by you, Mr. Edgeworth. You saw that contradiction like a pro. I had totally forgotten all about that. Thanks to you, I remember it now. You're right. It was around that very time that I realized the master key was missing. And, well, I'm a security guard, sir. I couldn't just admit to losing the master key, could I? So I pretended to lock up his room, sir. You pretended? Girl. Yeah, I used my house key and made it look like I was locking up, sir. So in actuality, you never did relock the door then? Well, I thought that maybe I could go lock it after I found the key. Come to think of it, I guess the door still hasn't been locked properly. What's that mean? Hey, what happens if I talk to Gumshoe? Yes, sir. Detective Gumshoe, you look rather intrigued by something. Care to share? Ah, it's nothing, but I noticed that Mr. Portsman calls his partner detective in that Sunday night drama, All My Cops, is named Jim too. I bet one of them is a big fan of that show. You know a little something about it yourself. I take it you watch it too. Of course, the tight bond of friendship between prosecutor and detective is great, sir. But it's nothing compared to that super strong friendship we have. Friendship, detective, I think you're... Say that, sir. After all we've been through. Yeah, they are totally... Oh. I assume you understand how to conduct investigations. Detective. Of course, sir. Examine anything and everything with A. By checking various things out, we can gather all sorts of evidence. The evidence we collected with R. Your information and leads, it's L. No way she's the killer. Please don't tell me you buy into that accusation, sir. Rest assured, I think she... However, I need to ask her a few things regarding her security guard position. I'm only asking. Stand next to her and then press it. Oh my god, okay. Okay, thank you. Okay. 100%. The door. I've had to open Mr. Portsman's door office for him a number of times before. I've also had the chance to see the inside of his office a number of cases. So, he's got shelves upon shelves of sports memorabilia, trophies, and awards in it. The point where it's almost beyond gaudy, sir. Maybe I just feel that way because I'm jealous since I don't have... Don't say that, Maggie. I'll make a special Guard of the Month award just for you. Thanks for trying, but I've already got them out. Prizes, sir. They're proof of just how unbelievably unlucky my life is. Just getting an award from you just isn't the same as getting a real award, sir. There's a contradiction here. Reality in the evidence. If what Miss Bird has said is true, then why is this door locked tight? You know, you're right. Miss Bird, are you sure you didn't relock this door? I'm certain of it, sir. I don't think Mr. Portsman noticed it himself that I... Which means what, sir? It either means that he actually does have the key to this, or that the door Miss Bird opened wasn't this one at all, but a completely different one. She opened a different door? How can you prove that? There's an easy way to find out. All we need to do is examine the prints on the doorknob will tell us everything. Yeah, you pal. Do us a favor and see what you can lift from this, okay? What did you find out? There's no need to such belligerent nostril flaring, detective. Sir, I have found only Mr. Portsman's and Mr. Faye's prints on this doorknob. Only 2 people's prints were found on this, huh? That's pretty decisive. I'm lost, sir. Thinking logically, a certain other person's prints should be on this knob as well. Whose prints should be on the doorknob? Maggie. Oh gosh. Take that! She's like 23 and she's been through all that. Wow. Don't you find it odd that the prints of the person who unlocked this door are absent? I mean, yes, the door that Miss Bird opened could not have been this one, but a different one. What have we here? I want rest. Start with that. Looks like a scrap of paper. I'll get it, sir. Let's see. Oh, there's something written on it. I brought the 3 pieces of evidence, but... Oh, I brought the 3 pieces of evidence by, just like we talked about on the phone, but it looks like you're out. I guess I'll have to catch up to you. Yeah, and it's... Portsman. Huh? What are you looking at, sir? Oh, hey, how about a game? That's okay, detective. I just found the position of this loop to be a little off. You're right. I guess it shifted. Made a seriously sweet slam dunk. Positioning of the hoop is definitely put our signal. Poking around in this hallway has actually paid off quite handsome. Huh? How so, sir? In a variety of different ways. I think it's time we had a little chat with the real culprit of this case. You know who the killer is? Wow, Mr. Edgeworth. As long as my logic is sound, then yes. Mastermind behind this murder is none other than Mr. Portsman. What? Mr. Portsman? I knew it! That's exactly what my logic senses were telling me too. I suspected it was him from the instant he accused Maggie of being the killer, sir. That is anything but logical. Lady and gentlemen, prepare yourselves. Come what may, it's time to knock on truth's door. Dun dun dun! March 14th. Mr. Portsman, I've finished processing the bloody letters, sir. Alright, let's take a gander at it. Pass it here. Okay, looking good. You there, take good care of this. Wow! Well, if it isn't Detective Gumshoe. End of the line for you, Portsman. We've got you now. Call off your dog, Mr. Edgeworth. Some kind of joke. It's no joke. We know, Mr. Jacques Portman, that you are the guilty party in this case. You must be pretty upset, getting chased out of your own room. I'd be mad too. So I guess you can stay if you promise to stay out of our way. If you intend to hide your crime under the guise of a prosecutor... Oh, you intend to hide your crime under the guise of a prosecutor doing his job. I can see right through slightly hair upon your cowl. Learning lots of big words today, folks. Huh. Who'd have ever thought it would come to this? Actually, come to think of it, your mentor was Manfred von Karma, right? A legendary prosecutor who never lost a single case for 40 long years. But there was always this incessant chanter about forged evidence with that guy. Really teaches me that I've got to stay on the lookout for false accusations, you know? Are you done trying to play mind games? Because they won't work. The only thing you should be using that mouth of yours for now is explaining yourself. Although that too will only dig your hole deeper. Either way, your game is up. Well, aren't we full of ourselves? Even though you have yet to prove anything. Mr. Portsman's rebuttal. I have no idea what sort of harebrained idea you have in mind, but there's a mountain of evidence that points away from me being the culprit. Besides, how, may I ask, do you propose I unlocked your door and got in here? Look, I feel bad doing this to you, but I've got work to do, so we're done here. Boy, you're stubborn. I suppose you're basing your accusations on... Basing my... With evidence. Alright, let's see here. I have no idea what sort of harebrained evidence. Yes. The door or the key?
Objection!
I believe you were able to open my office door with the master key, no less.
Objection!
Wait. Hold on for a sec. I never laid a finger on that key, as you already know. Precisely. You were able to open my door without lifting a single finger. Well, maybe you did, but only to direct. That's right, you used your finger to direct this person to open my door with the key.
Take that!
You had asked Miss Bird to open your own office door for you, yes? Yeah, I kind of forgot my key at home. Happens a bit too often for my taste, you know. But the room you had Miss Bird open at that time was not your own, was it? What? You have quite the imagination. But why don't we ask that girl herself whose door she opened, shall we? I'm certain that it was Mr. Porter, sir. I checked the number plate to make sure I was opening the right door, sir. See, Miss Bird backs up my story. Yet, what if you had misled her to fool her into thinking what you... Ah! And how do you suppose I did that? By switching the number plates on our doors, for example. That's right, they do slide out pretty easily. Furthermore, you then used one other thing to give a very strong impression. That the door she was opening was yours and not, in fact, mine. What was it that Mr. Oh, there's one. Oh. What do we get over there? It's okay. Yeah, that.
Take that!
What? The basketball hoop, sir? It's quite the peculiar fixture in any hallway, let alone a hallway in this building. Which is why it left an unusually strong impression on you. It's an object perfectly suited to sit just outside the office of a particular prosecutor. Wow. I don't know how to do these anime. Wow. That's very true, sir, because there was a basketball hoop sitting there. I thought the door I was opening had to be Mr. Portsmouth. There are signs that the hoop had been moved. To sit in front of my office, to be sure. I see. So that's how you throw suspicion on people. Thanks for the tip. But I think your conjecture is a little off the racetrack. Now you're just spouting nonsense. I had the girl open my office door. After that, I was in my room the entire time. You don't have a single reason to suspect me. So he intends to claim his innocence to the end, does he? What the hell? Why are we always surprised by that? I'm as pure and innocent as my jacket. And Miss Bird is as dirty and guilty as the jacket she wears. My jacket's not dirty, I'll have you know. I just washed it yesterday. Please calm down, for I intend to show one truly covered in slime here. Here's rebuttal. Oh. Yeah. Now I present the picture.
Objection!
Mr. Portsman, there is a large flaw in your logic. Really? I think it holds up rather well, actually. What do you think is wrong with it? Oh, what? Main comm Miles, it seems. What? Wish all I have to do is find the wall. Oh, okay. This is probably... It's gotta be with this note.
Objection!
There we go. Usually when the music goes away, you did it right. That was a lie. What are you talking about? How was that a lie? This is a note from the victim left for you, Mr. Portsman. A note? It was left under your door. Or did you not notice? Right here it says, but you're out. You were not in your room when the victim came to call on you. So, where were you? And what were you doing? Ah! Shall I explain it in full detail for you? You were busy snooping around in my room, the very room you had Miss Bird open for you.
Objection!
That's just nonsense. You have no evidence that I made the girl open your door for me. Oh, but I do. I have very decisive evidence. No way! This is proof positive that you had Miss Bird open the door for you. Yeah.
Take that!
I had your door dusted for prints. My door? Ha! What for? Come on, I bet you didn't find anything. You sure are good at wasting time. You're right, I didn't find anything. Definitely not Miss Bird's fingerprints. Her prints? What do they have to do with anything? Let's put it this way. If she really was the one who opened your door, then her prints should naturally be on the doorknob she touched. Further, all the prints on my office door's knob have been wiped clean off. I can only assume it's because Miss Bird's fingerprints were on it. Don't you think it's time you gave up your charade? He's the type of guy that would say charade, not charade. We know you stole into my office with the intent of stealing something from me. And Detective Faith found you out. Possibly because he heard sounds coming from a room whose occupant was on leave. Mr. Portsman, you killed Mr. Faith the Silencer. And I had the misfortune to return when I did. You had to threaten me as you escaped. As I said, when you hand the gun to my back, no one gets away with committing murder in my office. Uh-oh. Just what's so funny, pal? Well, that look of stiff seriousness on the face of this office's finest prosecutor, as he makes a huge mistake in accusing me, is simply too much to bear. There's just nothing else like it in the world. What? Sir Edward just explained it all, and he even backed it up. You're the murderer. Stop trying to be slippery and just admit to the crime already. And as I said earlier, it's all so circumstantial. So full of conjecture. You say you checked my doorknob for prints? I can readily confess that I had wiped that knob down as well. Okay. I'm a little obsessive compulsive, you see. I didn't want to touch a doorknob that you had touched. Which is why I wiped the knob down as soon as I could after you opened the door. After that, it makes perfect sense that only Jim's and my own prints would be on there. You made that up just now, didn't you? Furthermore, as for the note Jim left for me, do you know exactly when that was? For all we know, he could have left it there before I arrived at the office. Like early evening, for example. Are you saying you failed to notice a note in your doorway? Hey, even geniuses fail at times. I was probably too preoccupied by work-related matters, although that's no excuse. Now that's just a flat-out lie. There's no way you didn't notice a note that size. But you can't prove that. Say something, Mr. Edgeworth. Back me up here. Good point. I can't prove that he didn't simply overlook it. Look at it. Besides, I have an airtight alibi. Airtight, you say? I only just realized I had one as we were talking. I guess it would have been better for all of us if I had told you sooner. If memory serves, you came back to this office at around 2, correct? This was when we had that unfortunate confrontation at gunpoint with the culprit. But exactly that time, I was down in criminal affairs. Ask around. I'm sure the other detectives will corroborate my story. It's the perfect alibi. Damn it. Really think it's that perfect? Like I said, I don't care. Ask around all you like. You'll see for yourself. Detective Gumshoe? Sir, yes, sir. I'll go check out his alibi, sir. Be right back. Judge, sir, I think we're in trouble. It's just like Mr. Portsman said. The guys down in criminal affairs said they saw him around 2 a.m. See? All of the evidence points. There must be a contradictory point in his alibi somewhere.
Hold it!
You are correct. It was around 2 a.m. Are you sure it's really important to me that you're spot on with the time? I remember checking my watch then, and make no mistake, it was 2. Oh. Giving testimony like a pro. Okay. Ugh. So you came back to your office at 2. And it was then that you had the unfortunate confrontation.
Hold it!
It is as you say, however. Yes, however, you are the only one who claims to have bumped into the culprit. So tell me, did you see the person's face? Was it me who you saw? It was pitch black, so I couldn't actually see. Oh, come now. I'm sure you saw something. Try a little harder, why don't you? Like I'm the one being interrogated here. Oh well, it doesn't matter if you remember or not. It only matters that you ran into the culprit. But at exactly that time, I was down in criminal affairs.
Hold it!
So you paid the criminal affairs department a visit. Yep. Right after I left the prosecutor's building, I headed straight for the precinct. Ask around. I'm sure the other detectives will corroborate my story. It's the perfect alibi. Well, we did go and ask around to confirm your testimony. And it was just as I said, right? Sir, a number of detectives said that they saw you at around that time. See, I have the perfect alibi. That's the ace I had up my sleeve. Possible. He does have the alibi. Why the sudden sullen look on your face? I think we've reached the end of the line, and it's time to get off this crazy train. You there. Sir, please escort the young lady out, but remember, be gentle. Maggie. Detective Gumshoe. There must be a way to turn this. If only I had a clue. But I missed something that can. Need to calmly think this through one more time and with logic. Forced logic. Maybe? There were 2 bullets left at the scene of the crime. One that robbed Mr. Faith of his life. And one that nearly robbed me of my jacket. Because those were equal. However, the murder weapon only showed signs of being fired once. Meaning that it is entirely possible that a second gun was in my office tonight. Seeing as how the killer had to steal Mr. Faith's gun, I doubt the killer had another gun up their sleeve. Therefore, the second gun could have been the property of an entirely different person. Which could mean that there was another person who paid a visit to my office. Guess we have to do that. Only 2 choices. Logic is easy. Supposing there was yet another visitor tonight, That would also resolve the issue of why my shelves were upended twice. We know that the shelves were disturbed once before and once after the murder. So it shouldn't be much of a stretch to think that it was the work of two different people. Once by the person who stole the victim's gun and then killed him with it. Once again after the murder by our second culprit, who was the owner of the second gun. If we suppose that the second culprit's gun was back.
Objection!
Mr. Portsman, seems that I need to amend my assumptions regarding this case. Great, so you finally come to your senses. Your expert. Sir, what are you saying? This has been a big misunderstanding on my part from the start. I had assumed that the person I ran into was the killer, but that may not be the case. What do you mean? The person I ran into was just your average thief. Thief? Sir, doesn't that cause some sort of tension in the back? Not at all. It simply means that the killer was someone else. And it means that in actuality, two culprits stole into my office tonight. What do you mean two? It explains both why my shelves were disturbed twice and how there were two guns. Mr. Portsman tricked Miss Bird and gained entry into my office. Now you're just leading the argument. You still don't have any actual proof, you know. You could please go along with my hypothetical scenario for now, Mr. Portsman. In the end, if you really are innocent, you should have nothing to worry about. Now then, returning to my scenario. The scenario type of guy. Mr. Portsman was out to steal something from me, which is why he checked my safe and ransacked my shelves. This is the first time. So then, this would be when the files were put back in the wrong order, right? Correct. And then, just when he was about to look around somewhere else, who should walk in but his own partner, Mr. Faith? But why did Mr. Faith come into your room, sir? He probably had business with Portsman. Why he was in the area. But that's when he noticed sounds coming from my office. Yes? Oh, because you were supposed to be away, right? He must have thought it was odd, so he came to the office to check it out. Correct. And as a detective, that was the right thing to do. But when he came in, he found his own partner standing there. Because it was Mr. Portsman. Mr. Faith probably let his guard down. Mr. Portsman was not so merciful as to let him leave. He waited for a chance and stole Mr. Faith's gun from him, and then... he killed him. Silenced Mr. Faith for catching him in the act of stealing. This was the moment in which the first shot was fired, and the one that landed in my files. Following that, Mr. Portsman wiped the gun down and left it behind as he made his exit. He could afford to do that because he had also left the fake dying message behind. You're such a complicated troublemaker, you know that? Well, if things were as simple as that, then all would be solved. However, there was yet another visitor to my room. And this is where it gets complicated. There was another visitor, sir? Yes, and this person's objective was also to steal something. Now then, even after Mr. Portsman left, the door to my office remained unlocked. However, this new visitor had no way of knowing that, and so they stole the master key from the security guard's room and entered my room and searched through my shelves. This was the second time they were disturbed, and it seems the thief found their prize. Stolen O file, right? Or 0 file. Correct. Only just as the thief was about to leave with that file, I appeared. The thief then threatened me with their own gun and made their escape. second bullet was fired during that brief encounter. So the shell was getting messed up twice, and the 2 bullets, it was all because 2 different people were doing those things at 2 different times. Precisely. So, now do you see, Mr. Portsman? The person I met was just a thief, and was not, in fact, Mr. Faith's killer. Your alibi for the time frame in which I ran into the other person is now irrelevant, because we now know that the murder took place during the first culprit's visit. What's so funny, pal? Absolutely splendid. Your scenario explains everything. Of course it does, Mr. Edgeworth, after all. But you know, it still doesn't change the fact that it's all circumstantial. Supposing if, and that's a big if, your theory is right, it would indeed render my alibi, which has withstood scrutiny, mind you, irrelevant. But there is still one defining point of your argument for which you have no evidence. Your supposition that I was the first visitor. Mr. Edgeworth, can't let you get away with that, sir. But he has a point. I have absolutely no proof of this point. Yes. I don't believe this. Don't worry, Maggie. I'll do something if I must. You know something? I find your attitude to be somewhat peculiar, Mr. Edgeworth. If the person you met really was just an old thief, why is that person not your main suspect? That is, if your theory is correct. That thief you ran into should be your real suspect, wouldn't you say? You should be out there looking for that thief right now. They might still be nearby. I hate to repeat myself, but as I've already said, I was training in my room. And when Jim came to deliver some evidence to me, I was down at Criminal Affairs. So I can't be expected to happen after I left. So you think we should be out there looking for the thief? Of course. Now isn't the time to be having these dead-end discussions. I don't think it is all dead-ended. I find your alibi to be fascinating. Let's continue where we left off, shall we? No, he's lying. No, he was here at the scene. The way to prove it.
Hold it!
Actually, no. No, I wouldn't. But why not? That's elementary. The dying message, of course. Mr. Faith's killer was clearly left. Mr. Faith's killer very clearly left those letters on the lines of those files. And it was after they were on... It was after they were on there... What? And it was after they were on there that the thief stole one of them. You mean the 0 files, right? And that's how we also know the letters themselves were a setup and not from Mr. Faith. If the thief was the killer, do you think they would try to undermine themselves? Or maybe the killer just didn't think of that either? Yeah, that must be it. Maybe, just maybe. They're looking for that thief right now. They might still be nearby. Once escaped, I highly doubt a thief would linger nearby. Well, you'd never know. Maybe they didn't get what they were really after. Oh, you talk like you know quite a bit about this thief. Yeah, it's nothing like that. I have no idea about anything, after all. Well, after all, I hate to repeat myself, but as I've already said, I was training my own. But according to Mr. Faith's note, hold on, I thought we already cleared that up. Didn't we say that Jim left that note for me in the early evening? You have no proof that he left it at a different time, say just before he was murdered. I don't have any, no. You see? So I insist again that I was in my office the entire time. My Jin can deliver some evidence to me.
Hold it!
Why didn't you go there with Mr. Faith? Ah, that's because he said he was tired and was going to take a quick nap. You know those sofas in the hallway? He likes to sleep on those. It's one of his habits. And what of the evidence he brought? They were things related to yesterday's case. Just 2 items, a gun and a pendant. Wait. No, it said 3, didn't it?
Objection!
Only 2 pieces. I believe the proper phrase here is, you fail. Excuse me? You fail as a prosecutor, Mr. Portsman, as you intend to keep evidence hidden from you. What are you talking about? I haven't hidden anything from you. Well, here's a piece I think you should read carefully. Ah, Mr. Faith was bringing 3 pieces. Yes, this is the victim's real dying message to you, Mr. Portsman. I can't believe to get tripped up by simple arithmetic. Where's the missing piece of evidence? You have it, don't you? Only the guilty would make such a face. Detective Gumshoe. You don't have to say it, sir. I'll pat the guy down from head to toe. Dirty. Don't come any closer. I'm warning you. This is all part of the investigation, pal. So don't even think about stopping me. I love that capital pal. No! What's this? He had this on him, sir. Despite what you said, it would appear that you do have something to hide. But why would he hide something like that? There's only one reason why anyone would hide evidence of this caliber. Because it would unequivocally point to that person himself as the real killer. Let's examine this videotape in a little more detail. For the section of the tape that will drive the last nail into his coffin. GG. That's a police case number, sir. Does this mean this video is evidence from that case? Interesting. However, what's recorded on it isn't what's important right now. Give the casing a thorough once-over. Ah! That's blood, isn't it? Yes, and I believe this is what the good prosecutor was trying to hide from us. This blood is still fresh. You mean the Detective Face blood? Might be Detective Face blood? No, you've got it all wrong! No amount of denial can save you. We have but to run a blood test to find the truth. You told us that you had received evidence from the victim earlier. Now you will tell us when and how did the victim's blood find its way onto this video. Yeah, it's totally suspicious. Was it at the moment of his death? Did Detective Faith have this videotape on his personage? I'm not good at pronouncing words, y'all. When you killed him? You know very well there's no way to prove that. Not even if we were to examine this tape for fingerprints. If I had to take a guess, I'd say that the only ones on here who belong to the murderous you and Mr. No, impossible. Oh. Swallowed it. Gross. Okay, the blood is still there. Oh, no, the files are gone? Mr. Portsman has been placed under the arrest for the murder of Detective Buddy Faith, sir. Very good. And the results we got back from the lab techs on the tape turned out to be real solid, sir. The blood work came back and it was definitely Mr. Faith's blood on there. And as a bonus, they were able to lift a few of Mr. Faith's fingerprints as well. Thank you so much, Mr. Edgeworth. I still can't believe I got to see your cool deduction skills outside the courtroom. I'm impressed beyond words, sir. It was nothing. Just sorry you got caught up in a murder in my office. Please accept my apologies. Oh, it was nothing, really, compared to what I've been through. I consider myself lucky that it was only a burglary and a murder this time. If it had been a hold-up or a hostage situation, I'd have thrown my hands up in the air. I think I'm finally rising up from a goddess of misfortune to just an unlucky person. Something tells me we should have hired a different person for security. You know something, sir? That Mr. Portsman really was one corrupt prosecutor. And why would you say he was corrupt? Well, I heard there were a number of suspicious things related to his court case. There's even rumors about how some of the evidence he uses is forged, sir. Forged evidence. And they say he even decided not to prosecute her. They say he even decided to not prosecute a few cases for some really vague reasons. Ooh, that guy was a complete disgrace to the entire profession. We never did get around to asking what his reason was for breaking into my office. I can be pretty certain. This is just between you and me, sir, but there's a rumor that some sort of huge organization is involved behind the scenes. Oh? Well, well. With Mr. Portsman not willing to divulge anything, it certainly lends credence to that rumor. But it seems that we haven't heard the last of this. Huh? Mr. Portsman isn't the bad guy? I didn't say that, but rather there are still many more mysteries for us to solve. For example, we still haven't figured out the significance of this piece of it. Oh, the safe, I think.
Take that!
I don't think mystery left. Solve the case already. But the only thing left that we still don't know about is maybe this. Oh, yeah. Not bad. Yes, the O series file, the significance of which we have yet to fully. The person who stole this file, the other villain of the. Yeah, I wonder who. And what happened to the stolen pages. I wonder who in the world was it that held me up at gunpoint. Mr. Edgeworth, sir. Yes. I came across this while prosecuting your office earlier. This card. What is it, sir? Is that a bird or something on there? It's not just any bird. It's the mark of the raven. A three-legged raven. Even you should know what this is, detective. Oh, it's about that thing, isn't it? The great thief everyone's talking about? Yes, it's the mark of the great thief, Itagarasu. Itagarasu. Under the mark of the legendary bird, the Itagarasu is noble to the end, a modern Robin Hood. Labeled mysterious and phantom-like, the Itagarasu appears and vanishes at will. I'm gonna have to look up how to actually say that word because I don't want to butcher it the whole walkthrough, or the whole game. Though we don't know much about this thief's ultimate goal, we do know the targets. The Itagarasu. Yatagarasu likes to find and make public evidence of corrupt dealings of all sorts. And the theft is all performed in silence and always with perfection. Once a target is chosen, no dramatic calling card or announcement is sent forth. Instead, the chosen corporation is infiltrated without the target even noticing. Or without even the target noticing. Some days later, the evidence that was found is sent out to the mass media. Along with this single card. Although it has been a while since the progress last. Hey, Mr. Edgeworth, look, something's written on the back. What? Let me see. It's the location of where the thief put the stolen files. The person who stole the contents of the file was the Tagaras. Quite a few keywords are popping up. Murder in my office. The return of the great thief Tagarasu. Looking back, I can't see. Can't say I didn't see these coming, but they were heralded by the incidents that began to occur 2 days ago. The end. Alright, that's the end of the first case. The tutorial case. A lot of setup there. You ready for that? Alright, y'all. I am going to call this stream right here. Like I said, I'm going to do like each, how it would do to be continued, and then this end. I will probably do a little more later today. I just have got to do, and then we'll be back. If you're on YouTube, like, we're hanging out.